Hello my lovely people. So amazingly, the 200k thing happened. I mean, okay, it feels like just 2 months ago I was on 20k. It was. I'm stunned. But hi, hello, welcome to everyone who is new, everyone who has come in. I thought, since we have lots of new people, that I would tell you some things about me and that then you can get to know me better, which feels like a really strange thing to say because you've been watching a year and a half's worth of videos in which I tell you personal things about myself. But here are some facts that you might not know. Yes, in a completely random order. Some of them may even be interesting. My birthday is the 25th of January 1989. But I always think of myself as 2 years younger because I was so ill for my teenage years that I genuinely don't remember 2 years of my life, so I don't think they should count. I'm allergic to rabbits, cats, dogs, hairy caterpillars, really allergic to hairy caterpillars, bark, sap mainly, grass, really allergic to wild grass. Yeah, I actually once got out of a technology exam that I had not studied for, don't do that, by going and rolling in wild grass with bare legs. And my entire legs came up in blisters and sores and boils, and it was, whoa, there was blood, it was pussy, it was not good. I should probably remind you that I have neurological damage and therefore cannot feel all of my skin, so it looked way worse than it felt. Anyway, got out of the exam and didn't have to retake it until the week after, when I had time to actually look stuff up. My all-time favourite pairing, Buffy and Faith, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They are my OTP. They are perfect together. I love everything about them. I have read possibly every Buffy and Faith fanfiction that there is on the internet. Actually no, I think I have. I have read all of them. Every single one. Even the bad ones, I'll read the first paragraph. Skip down a bit to see if it gets better. And still give it a little go. See how long I can hold out. But no. But that still counts as reading. My other favourite pairings are Kim and Shigo from Kim Possible, Bubblegum and Marceline from Adventure Time, and yeah, there's a theme. I also kind of liked Blair and Serena in Gossip Girl for a little bit, but not really because I can't really understand the attraction to Serena, so I don't know. But I did really like Blayton, which is Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, because Leighton Meester is so goddamn adorable, okay? I also, every time a Fast and Furious movie comes out, read the Fast and Furious fanfiction that has Letty and Dom in. Yeah. It only lasts 3 weeks and they are my only straight pairing, but every time those films come out. Following on from that, and you could probably see this one coming, I write fanfiction. Yeah, I've been doing it since I was 13. God, that's a long time. I've had 3 different usernames and I'm never going to tell you what any of them are. But let's just say, if you read Buffy and Faith fanfiction, you have definitely read something I have written, because I was quite prolific. And again, I still do it now. I didn't eat carbs for 10 years. Zero, zilch, nothing, not even gluten-free replacements. Yup, no. It's not like I was on some incredible low-carb diet, although obviously I was, but it wasn't intentional. I just couldn't deal with that. My body just thought that carbs were poison. I am awful at responding to messages. This is something I really don't like about myself. I find it quite frustrating because I'll get a lovely message from my friend, get a little text message, look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's so sweet. I think up the entire answer in my head, and then for some reason I decide it's too much energy to take that from my head, put it in the text and press send. So I put it down, go, oh, I'll do that later, and then because it's already been opened, it never gets looked at again. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'll try, I will try harder. I have a dent in my head. I'm pretty sure this is because the ceiling fell in on my mother while she was pregnant with me. I don't know. It's sort of like this. There's a dent, and there's a bumpy bit at the back, and for a while, between the age of maybe like 10 to 12, the bump sort of grew and it was quite painful and hard. But no one ever did anything about it because no one listens to the child who cries wolf. And anyway, then it stopped growing and shrunk back a bit, and now it's just kind of solid in there. Great thing about that though is that the dent creates a kind of natural valley for my headbands to sit in, or my bows. In Chinese astrology, I am a dragon. An earth dragon in fact, and that fits me completely perfectly to a T. Seriously, go and look that up. That's me. And Claudia is a rabbit, so we go together. Lumping this in together is one fact. My personality on the Myers-Briggs scale is ENFJ, which I think also fits me quite well, which is extroversion, intuition, feeling, judgment. ENFJs are very firm believers in people, and I think I am too. I'm very optimistic about people, humans, the world. I think we're all good people. I am obsessed with growing my hair. I just, and yet I keep cutting it. Why, Jessica? Why? When I was 4, the little girls who lived next door to me held me down and cut off my hair because it was the same colour as Barbie hair. And then my mother gave me a haircut to try and salvage this, the mushroom hair. Yeah, it looked like I had a mushroom on my head. It was quite possibly the worst thing you could do to a child's hair. And I didn't let anyone cut my hair for 10 years after that. No. But then unfortunately I got to 14 and I decided that I was becoming a woman now, and that meant shaking off all of my lovely hair. Who knows why? Since then it's kind of gone up and down and, you know, ish. But it's never really been that long, lovely, luscious hair that I want it to be. That's what I want. That's all I want. Because when you curl your hair, it just gets shorter. Basically, I just want Jessica Rabbit hair. I mean, who doesn't? Hair goals. This might just be feeding the trolls, but I still get upset when someone says you're not deaf. It's not even an insult, but it hurts. I used to want to be an architect, but then I discovered that I hate modern architecture. I'm really, really interested in houses though, kind of obsessed with them almost. I mean, public buildings are nice and all, but houses, homes, that's where my interest truly lies. Oh, I spend too much time right moving. My favourite periods are Georgian and Edwardian houses. I have never lived in a modern house and I never intend to. I can't deal with it. There should be a breeze moving through at all times. Obviously I do like some classical architecture, particularly ancient Greek public buildings. Not so much their houses though, so. My favourite place in the world is the Lake District, which is in England, if you did not know. My grandparents bought a place there when my mother was just 6 weeks old, and then they retired there later on. And we would go for every school holiday and I loved it. It was such a magical place. I felt like every time I was there I was dreaming. I want to keep going there every year for the rest of my life. What could be better than a peak and a lake and woodland and forest? And as you can see from our Lake District travel vlogs that we made, not even rain stops us. It's just too beautiful. To make my little brother happy for around 5 years, from maybe the ages of 7 to 12, I pretended to be a dolphin called Zoe every time I hit the water on a family holiday. No speech, no legs, no, I was all Zoe all the time. And thus I am now fluent in dolphin. And my brother can swim. That was probably the more important part. My favourite animal is a peacock. You probably could have seen that one coming. I drink every drink through 2 straws because, well, I drink an awful lot and there's no straw big enough to get enough liquid in here, you know? Also, if you're drinking through a bottle and you put your straws in, you'll notice it gets all fizzy. But if you have 2 straws and you drink through just the one straw but leave the other open to the air, then it stops the bottle from fizzing over. Also works on cans. I am generally always cheerful because I don't see a point in not being. I'm very, very empathetic, and I tend to absorb the emotions of everyone and everything around me. If I'm reading a book and the protagonist is having a hard time, then I start feeling like I'm having a hard time. Oh, it's not very productive, because then I find myself crying about problems that aren't even mine. For this reason, I like to fill my life with happy media. Claudia insisted I put this one in, but fine. My unhappy face is an upside down smile. Yeah. Happy face? Unhappy face. Wait, let's see if I can do it. Yeah, genuinely. That is my unhappy face. Claudia says it's very hard to take me seriously when I'm unhappy. Yeah. I'm probably one of the worst people to get into a fight with. If you try and start something, I will just walk away because I don't care for that. Claudia and I have never had an argument because, well, why would we? Nothing's more important than our relationship. If we disagree on something, which is actually incredibly rare, but if we do, it kind of goes along the lines of, I really like this thing. Oh, you don't like this thing? Okay, why don't you? Very valid reasons, I see. Well, here are my reasons for liking it. Yeah, you know what? It seems like you dislike it more than I like it, so we'll just not have it. It's very simple, but it works. I love historical fiction. Absolutely, completely obsessed with it. Yes. Whether it's books, TV shows, films, if it's fiction, kind of based on fact, a little bit of history thrown in there. Oh, a lot of history thrown in there. It makes me so happy. I am always writing at least 3 books at once. Always. On my phone. I tend to write them on my iCloud so they're safe. But the thing is, I'm genuinely always writing. I'll be there having my dinner and then suddenly I'll be sitting on a bus and suddenly I'll be pretending to watch TV, but really I basically just love writing. I've always written books ever since I was a tiny, tiny little one, and it's what I hope to do for the rest of my life. I promise they won't all be about Buffy and Faith. Sorry, Mother. So there you go, there's 20 facts about me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found out some things about me that maybe you didn't know before. Ooh. Thank you so much for subscribing, for joining us, for just being part of this really amazing thing that appears to be happening in my life. Wow. I hope you stick around. I hope that I can continue to make content that you really enjoy, that inspires you or educates you or just makes you happy. If you're new here, then also hi, hello, please come, subscribe, join me, follow me on my social media channels, which will all be in the description down below. I say all of, it's really just Instagram and Twitter. Sometimes I put things on Facebook, but I don't do the Snapchat stuff because that confuses me. Now here's a game for you if you're still watching. I want you to write down below in the comments when you first found me. It doesn't have to be the exact day, obviously. That would be probably kind of difficult to do. Just the general month, year. How long have you been here? Has it been a month, a week, a day, a year, 5 years? Why would you have been following me 5 years ago? Did I make videos 5 years ago? Oh, it did. Oh, it did. Oh, university. Oh yeah. Again, thank you for joining me and I will see you next video. Bye bye, my loves.